The first time I had him in my sights, he couldn't have been more than 17. His hands were shaking so badly, he almost dropped his revolver. The desert wind howled between the buildings of Dry Creek, carrying dust and the scent of gunpowder. Bodies lay in the street. 3 men who had chosen the wrong side of a robbery. And there he was. A boy pretending to be an outlaw. I should have pulled the trigger. Instead, I blinked. And that blink would cost dozens of lives. Part 1. The Shootout at Dry Creek. Dry Creek was the kind of town that survived on fear. Fear of drought. Fear of hunger. Fear of men like me. I rode in just before sundown, tracking the Calder gang for 6 days through canyons and dry riverbed that robbed a payroll wagon and left 2 guards bleeding into the sand. The sheriff had offered a reward, dead or alive. By the time I reached the saloon, the shooting had already started. Glass shattered, horses screamed. A man stumbled out the swinging doors, clutching his stomach before collapsing face first in the dirt. I dismounted slowly. Gunfire cracked again. One outlaw burst through the alley to my left. I shot him once. Clean. He fell without a sound. Another rushed from behind a water trough. Missed. My second bullet didn't. Then it went quiet. Too quiet. I stepped into the street. And that's what I saw. Part 2. The boy, he stood near the well. Revolver gripped in both hands, arms locked. Stiff. Too stiff. His hat was too big for his head. His coat hung loose like it had belonged to someone else. Sweat rolled down his temple. His jaw trembled. Behind him, the gang leader lay face down in the dirt shot in the back during the chaos. The boy's eyes met mine, wide, brown, terrified. He wasn't looking at a rival gunman. He was looking at death. "You drop that iron," I said calmly. His finger tightened. Instead, a mistake. The wind picked up, kicking dust between us. For a moment, time slowed. I saw it in him, the truth. He didn't want to fire. He wanted someone to stop him. "You don't have to die today," I told him. His lip quivered. I didn't mean for it to go this far. 17, maybe younger. Behind my eyes flickered memories I kept buried of another boy long ago, who thought holding a gun made him powerful. I raised my revolver. He squeezed his eyes shut. And that's when I made my choice. I fired, but not at him. The bullet knocked the revolver clean from his hands. It clattered across the dirt. Silence fell heavy between us. "You get on that horse," I said, voice cold as iron, "and you ride. You don't look back? You don't pick up another gun?" He stared at me in disbelief. "Go." He ran, and I let him. Part 3. The town's reaction, the people of Dry Creek, weren't grateful. They were angry. "You let one go?" The sheriff barked, red-faced and sweating. "That was Calder's last man." "He was a boy," I replied. "He was a criminal, not yet." The sheriff spat into the dirt. "Mercy gets people killed." Maybe. But I had seen something in that boy's eyes. Fear, yes, but also shame. Men who feel shame can change, or so I believed. I collected the reward for the dead ones and rode out the next morning before sunrise. I told myself I had done the right thing. For a long time, I believed it. Part 4. Years later, 5 years passed like dry seasons, slow and unforgiving. I heard rumors at first. A new gang forming in the Southern Territories, efficient, ruthless, different from the usual rabble. They didn't rob for survival. They executed. Farmhouses burned, stagecoaches ambushed, entire families wiped out for resisting. The name of their leader traveled in whispers. They called him Mercy. I didn't understand the joke. Not until I saw his face on a wanted poster in El Paso. The hat fit him now. The coat fit too. The boy from Dry Creek had grown into a man. The reward under his name was the largest I had ever seen. Dozens dead. Maybe more. My stomach tightened. I stared at the poster for a long time. His eyes were no longer wide and frightened. They were hard, empty, and beneath his name, someone had scrawled in ink. He says, "Mercy is weakness." The paper trembled slightly in my hand. I remembered the way his hands had shaken that day. I remembered telling him he didn't have to die. I remembered believing that saving him meant saving something good in this world. Now towns burned because of him. Now children buried fathers because I had blinked. The sheriff's words echoed from years ago. Mercy gets people killed. Outside the saloon, a rider came crashing through town, shouting. They hit Silver Ridge. Whole place near wiped out. Silver Ridge. I had passed through there last winter. Kind people, farmers, no guns. My chest felt heavy. I folded the wanted poster carefully and slipped it into my coat. The wind outside carried the scent of smoke, somewhere far south. He was riding, and this time he wouldn't be 17. He wouldn't be trembling, and I wouldn't blink again. Silver Ridge was still smoking when I arrived. The church roof had collapsed inward. The well had been poisoned with sand. Barns smoldered like dying coals beneath a darkening sky. And the silence, it was the kind of silence that presses against your ears until you hear your own heartbeat. Bodies lay covered in sheets near the general store. A woman sat on the church steps, rocking back and forth, her dress stained with soot. She didn't cry. She didn't have the strength left. A man approached me, older, his beard white with ash. "You hunting them?" he asked without greeting. "Yes? You won't bring back what they took." "No," I said quietly. "But I can stop them taking more." He studied me, their leader. He didn't shout, didn't rage, didn't even smile. He just watched. That word unsettled me. "What's his name?" "The man," whispered. I didn't answer, because I already knew. Part 6. The Man Called Mercy. I caught up to the gang 3 days later, near Red Hollow Canyon. I didn't rush in. I watched. They rode with discipline. No loud laughter, no drunken swagger. They moved like soldiers. Efficient, silent, and at their center. Him. He sat tall in the saddle, his coat blacker than memory, his hat low over his eyes. No trembling hands. No fear, only control. At night, as they camped near the canyon wall, I slipped closer beneath the cover of darkness. I heard his voice before I saw him, clearly calm, measured. One of his men laughed too loudly. He shot him mid-sentence, no hesitation. The body, the dirt, with a dull thud. "Discipline," he said softly to the others. "Or you join him." No anger in his tone. No thrill either, just certainty. That chilled me more than cruelty ever could. This wasn't the scared boy from Dry Creek. This was something forged by survival, forged by the lesson I had taught him. Spare no weakness, feel nothing, or die. I felt something twist inside my chest. Had mercy saved him that day? Or had it taught him the wrong lesson? Part 7. The conversation. I stepped into the firelight deliberately, hands visible. Weapons holstered. The gang reacted instantly, guns raised, boots shifting in the dirt. He didn't move. He just looked at me. Recognition came slowly. Then a faint smile touched his lips. "You," he said. The men glanced between us. "You know him?" one asked. "He's the reason I'm alive." His eyes never left mine. "Lower your guns," he ordered calmly. They obeyed. We stood facing each other across the flames. "You should have killed me," he said. "Maybe." He tilted his head slightly. "I waited years for you to come." I wondered if you'd feel responsible, do you? He considered that. For what? He replied. For surviving. For becoming this. A faint laugh escaped him. This world isn't saved by mercy. It's shaped by power. You weren't born this way. No, he agreed. I learned. His gaze hardened. That day in Dry Creek, you humiliated me. Shot the gun from my hand like I was nothing. You spared me like I was a child. And you made sure I would never be one again. The fire cracked between us. I decided that day, he continued softly, that I would never be at another man's mercy. And so you became the thing you feared? No, he corrected. I became the thing people fear. Silence stretched long and heavy. You could stop this, I said. He smiled again, but there was no warmth in it, and proved the sheriff right. The words hit harder than any bullet. Mercy gets people killed, he said quietly. My own past thrown back at me. He stepped closer. You spared me once. I won't return the favor. The gang shifted, sensing the storm coming. This ends tonight, I said. Yes, he agreed. Part 8, the second choice. We moved apart slowly, boots grinding into canyon dust, no dramatic countdown. Number. Shouted threats. Just wind curling through stone walls. The men backed away, forming a wide circle. The fire snapped behind him. His hand hovered near his revolver. This time, his fingers didn't shake. But mine didn't either. I wasn't facing, I was facing the consequence of my choice. The wind died completely. Silence. Then he drew first, fast. Faster than I remembered. But I had been ready since Silver Ridge. Since the church roof. Since the ashes. 2 shots cracked almost as one. Birds exploded from the canyon walls. For a second, neither of us moved. Then his revolver slipped from his grip. He looked down slowly at the dark stain spreading across his chest. Surprise flickered in his eyes. Not fear, not anger. Just surprise. You didn't blink, he said faintly. No, he swayed. I stepped forward and caught him before he hit the ground. For a moment, he was light in my arms. Too light. Like he had been years ago. His breathing grew shallow. Did you ever? He struggled. Regret it? Yes. He studied my face as if searching for truth. Good, he whispered. Then the firelight faded from his eyes. Ending the weight of mercy, the gang scattered before dawn. Without him, they were just men again. Scared, disorganized, human. I didn't chase them. I buried him near the canyon wall where the wind would sing over the stones. No marker, no name. Just earth. As I rode away, I kept thinking about that day in Dry Creek. If I had pulled the trigger, would Silver Ridge still stand? Would those families still live? Or would another monster have risen in his place? The truth is this: mercy is not weakness, but mercy without guidance, without responsibility, without watching what grows afterward, that can be deadly. I spared a boy, but I never made. Sure, he found a better road, and sometimes the price of mercy isn't paid immediately. Sometimes it waits, it grows, it sharpens itself in the dark, and one day it comes back with a gun.